Yeah, I take immense pleasure in introducing our resource person, Dr. Jayashree Sanbal. Dr. Jayashree is an associate professor in All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, Mysuru. She holds a doctorate degree from AYUSH. Her area of specialization is child language disorders, which includes dyslexia, autism, acquired aphasia, among others. Madam has held several high positions, some of them being chairperson, Autism Spectrum Disorders Unit, Sarva Siksha Abhignana Karnataka, and head of the Department of Speech Language Pathology. Dr. Jayashree's research aptitude includes 61 publications, funding around 10 research projects, presenting around 70 scientific papers in national and international conferences. And
anyway, I'm starting with my presentation very quickly. I have some videos also. I'll try to play them from here. So the topic that I have been given is online speech therapy for children with special needs. Can you please change the slide? And basically, I think most of us in this platform are aware by now that, mostly the speech language pathologists would chip in, especially when you see that you know that the child has some issues with language, with literacy, or with social communication, or with voice fluency, or any kind of a cognitive communication deficit. But yeah, I think this is, again, I would say a very good teamwork that we are doing it right now on this platform, because I think if you look at these conditions, somewhere you'll see that it just requires a multi-collaboration of professionals. So it doesn't happen that the speech language pathologist will sit alone and work on language or literacy or social communication. Definitely, it is the special educators also who will team up with us to do this. I think never work in isolation. It always should be a teamwork. And I'm sure I can see Dr. Rangasai here, who is a very most senior person in the field. And my greetings to you, sir, as well as Lata Rajendra. I'm so sorry I didn't do it in the beginning. It's just that I wanted to start off with my presentation and I didn't want to lose out on the network issues again. Can I go to the next slide, please? So basically, if you look at any goals of speech language therapy, you will see that we focus mostly on improving the comprehension and expression of a child's language. I think articulation, or now we call it more precisely as phonology, because it's not only to do with articulation, but it's more to do with the language part of speech, is how I would like to put it across. That is what is our main intention, and to improve the overall communication efficiency and also to improve the quality of life. Now, when I say phonology, I am trying to tell you that it's not just to see how precisely they're articulating or producing the sounds, but what is also happening with their encoding process. How are the children encoding different speech sounds? How are the children actually kind of representing those speech sounds, and how are they perceiving and then they're producing them? Okay, so you know very well when we have certain children who actually perceive the sounds itself wrongly, you might see that they produce wrongly as well. And the same thing is kind of reflected also in their reading writing abilities. So I think the best example that I can give you is of children with hearing impairment, because you know they have some amount of a sensory loss which can affect their perception and in turn affect their production as well. So a lot of times you see that if these children are not rehabilitated at the right time, you see that they tend to make such errors because of their hearing status itself. Okay, so that's why our goal becomes not just working on production, but also the comprehension and expression part of it. Can you go to the next slide? Now, yes, how is it going to be too different for online is what I am interested to talk to you about. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this kind of a baseline assessment that we do. Of course, if you see the slide there itself, you can make out that it's not only speech language assessment, but there are a whole lot of other professionals or other assessments that are required when it comes to children with speech and language problems with different conditions. But more specific, I think we are more interested as speech language pathologists in looking out for the oral mechanism examination, the articulation, fluency, voice, the receptive language, as well as their expressive language, keeping all the assessments baseline in mind. Go to the next slide, please. So these are some of the speech stimulation techniques we always keep talking about, but it's not just talking about these techniques. I'm sure a lot of special educators are also using these techniques, and I could get a glimpse of it when Dr. Varsha was also talking about it. I was so glad that she did cover a lot of portions also related to social communication, social stories and play and so on. So these are some of the techniques that we use, but some of them have very good evidence-based practice. So I've just put across those techniques which we have found in research that they definitely can help speech-language stimulation. For example, some of these techniques are named as echoing, parallel talk, self-talk, demonstration, extension, expansion, modeling, and prompting. So these are some of the techniques that we generally use. Can we go to the next slide? So this is just a glimpse that I wanted to give. In fact, I have a small video. Let me just try putting across that video to you. I hope it is going to play. This is a speech language therapy session that was that happened at Aish at our own center. So just let me know if I am able to, you know, kind of. Can you stop sharing, Ragita? Maybe I'll try from here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, let me just share this for you. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you actually see here, so these are some of, I'm going to give out some of these videos, links to you people, so that you can access them. It's very much there on my slide also. So this is one of our cases called as, I would say, a child with autism spectrum disorders who is availing therapy sessions from Japan. So basically, this child had initially come to us, but because of the lockdown, he just returned to Japan around that time, but they couldn't plan coming back to India to get the therapy. So we connected them during the lockdown for speech language therapy sessions. So I'm giving out some links of these videos which you can access and get some idea that yes, online speech therapy is also a possibility with children. So it's not always, you know, an impossible hurdle that cannot be crossed. So I'm just playing this video if you can see.
Yes. So what is the boy doing? He is.
Can you hear the audio?
Yeah. The boy is running. So now we'll go for next. What is happening next? Wow. Who is this? Who? What is my name? What is a girl?
Yes. So what is happening here is, if you actually see, the therapist is trying to teach the child the concept about verbs. Okay, and this is absolutely something that we've got, you know, free of cost, that was available on the net itself. Okay, it can be customized actually. So I'm going to give you the links of that. But if you actually like Dr. Varsha ma'am, what she was talking about is, yes, I think this COVID kind of the education setup in COVID is kind of an advantage and a disadvantage. But the best thing is, we have actually tried to figure out methods and ways and means of how we can reach out to these children online as well. And I think that's the reason she was talking about the guidelines that has been put across for the e-course material and so on. So I think this is quite encouraging. We should go on, you know, in such situations, of course, we can still go on for online speech therapy. If you actually see, when we generally conduct our online speech therapy sessions, you have the therapist and the child is constantly being monitored by the therapist as well as a facilitator, and who's usually the parents. So the child can actually view the window of the therapist as well, and he can also watch out for what kind of response that he's giving. So he's getting a feedback as well as a self-feedback as well as a feedback from the therapist. So I still don't think that this is not a possibility of carrying out speech therapy. And I think Ishan started off when he came to us with absolutely no speech. he was a child with non-verbal autism, but gradually now we have seen that Ishan can actually use 2-word sentences. In fact, currently we have also moved working more with social stories and social communication, theory of mind that Dr. Varsha was talking about, because this is something that children with autism generally have been observed to show some problems. So these, I think, are some of the word lists that probably I am going to tell you that these are going to be very useful and it can be used by these children. There is another sample that I would like to tell you is of a child with hearing impairment. Now, the challenge is always for hearing impairment. The challenge is the main thing.
Hi, Samrat.
Yeah, so again, this is a child called Sanju who is wearing, you can see his device there. So this child has never attended therapy live with us, in the sense like one-to-one therapy has not happened. But you can see that the therapist makes it very clear with Samrudh that he has to face the camera and also watch the therapist speaking to him. Okay, and this is a child who has been implanted. He's wearing a cochlear implant, and the therapist actually is talking about the concepts along with him. Okay, so it's not just that Samrudh is also watching, you know, the way the therapist is actually giving out clues. Okay, there are certain clues that she's giving out visually, but at the same time, she's also using the therapy materials. So I think this is the best way. So there are some simultaneous exercises that are happening, but the child is very well able to associate with what is happening there. Okay, so I'm just closing this video. This was just to give you a glimpse of it. But what is most important is never think that, you know, this is not really a possibility for us to, you know, go ahead with an online speech therapy. I think this came as in a boon for all of us when it came to online speech therapy. So if you see, most of these aspects that I was talking to you about speech stimulation techniques actually can be done through online speech therapy as well. And in fact, we have had certain publications also related to this, and we have found that the efficacies are quite good for even through the telemode. It just depends on the kind of disorders, and most of the time that I would say is child language disorders, we have found a lot of improvement in these children. So basically what I would say is when we go in for tele-rehabilitation or anything of this online kind of a thing, I think what is most important for us is the kind of technology that we are using, you know. That definitely is something that we have to bear in the mind, because I think it's the same experience that I had today, you know, that can become a big hurdle and a breakdown for therapy in case, you know, the connectivity is not good. I think that's the major, that's one of the limitations that I would say of the technology would be. But if you're able to sort out those issues, I think you can definitely connect and link yourself, not just in India, but also globally, because I think there are a lot of them who are looking forward to professional expertise in this area. So telepractice, I think, has a great promise in terms of the educational arena, as well as I think in terms of speech therapy. So I think the other aspects, many of it I think has been covered by Ms. Mamta as well. But apart from that, you will see, you know, like any other aspect of telemode, we are able to forego the geographical barriers, the unavailability of specialists, and impaired mobility. In fact, I would also like to say that it is more of an extended clinical services. It has really worked quite well even with our group therapy sessions. So some of them which we have done as group therapy sessions, connecting 2 or 3 children, trying to make a closer homogeneous group, we have been able to render online speech therapy for these children as well. So I think this kind of goes towards our motto for reaching the unreached. These are some of the websites that I would give out to you. My slides are already being you know, shared with the organizers, so kindly circulate this to the others. I'm sure a lot of them are more with respect to language literacy as well as working on phonology. So please make use of them. They are just free softwares that are already available on the net. I think this is and you can customize. Some of them you can actually customize depending on the setup you are. Like for example, you can kind of have something which is more an Indian kind of a picture and a scenario rather than just picking up what they have. So the kind of pictures that you have, you can embed them along with this, and you can also use them along with this. So I hope these kind of resource materials are going to be available. There is one I thought all of you might be very interested, called as K5 Learning, and I think this, I'm sure a lot of you might have accessed also. This is something very good. We have found it to be very useful. These are some of the apps that are available for different aspects of speech language skills. Okay, so I think it can still be used by special educators under the supervision of speech language pathologists to work on children, especially children with hearing impairment or children with learning disability, with phonological disorders and so on. I think these are some of the softwares and apps that are going to be really useful for you when you're using an online platform. So I thank everyone. I know the time duration was very short. And like Dr. Varsha was mentioning, we do require a lot of time to share such things. But I can see the immense number of people who had joined us. I think it's a very enthusiastic group. But if there's anything that you want to discuss or ask us, you're most welcome to do that. You can also contact us with our email ID that is there along with the organizers. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that beautiful, engaging lecture, which actually gives all the rehabilitation professionals here a lot of hope, and the future is ours in spite of whatever pandemics we are facing. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the lecture.